our pieces, and I have got a 22-inch zip. If you want to cut everything really accurate, then you only need a 20-inch zip if you're doing a 20, 17, if you're doing a 17, 18, if you're doing an 18, etc. I like my zips to be longer than what I'm doing, then I can take off this front bit. I don't have to worry about that, and I don't have to worry about the stopper because that's all going to be chopped off once I've sewn it in. My front is the only one I want neat and tidy, and that's 21 by 21 because I'm doing a 1/2 inch seam out, so it makes it a 20 inch because I've got a 20 inch cushion. So that's my front. This is the bit that hides my zipper, my zip, and this is 5 inches folded in half and pressed. I like my back to be longer, so that because I use this as a template to sew the back and the front together. Then my back, now you can do it all the same fabric. I'm doing a contrast. This is white with silver stars on. This is white with silver in it. It is Christmas after all. This is, let's just do a quick measurement of it. Again, I don't worry that much about my front as long as it's all straight, but I have done it at 23 roughly by 16 inches. You'll see why it doesn't matter at the end. And then that top one, because we're going to put the zipper in between the two backs, I've done at 6.5 roughly by, again, roughly about 23. So the idea is that the zip will sit in between those two, making a complete back panel. Then obviously that gets sewn in to cover that, and then obviously that then all gets sewn on together and turns inside out through your zip. Well, there you go, that's all the measurements I've got for mine. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take your large piece of backing and your zip, and we're going to put them together right size together. And if you've obviously just centre it into the middle if it's a different size, and then just clip or pin. You just need to put a couple in just to hold it together while you move it to the machine, and then you can hold up. And once you've done that, take it to the ironing board and press it open. That's what you should have. Once it's pressed, that's how you're sewing it together. Press it over, and that's what you should have so far. There you go. So now we come to put the top on, and this is where you layer it. So you need this bit and your top. If you've got directional fabric, please be aware of how you're doing it. I haven't. Right, raw edges on top of the top half of the zip that you haven't sewn yet. So that's right side to right side of your zipper. Make sure it's in the middle if it's not, if it's a different size. Start from your middle. And clip or pin. Just lovely, just a few, just to get it in, just to keep it together. Start clipping from the centre out, so you can take any excess outwards with you. That'll do, and then you put your other one on right sides together. Again, making sure that it's level with underneath or equal distance from either side. And obviously then once you've sewn that together and you turn it up like that. This is laid down with the folded edge this way, covering your zip, and this is facing right side up. So just to recap, you've got your zip right side up, your cover fabric, raw edges on the top, and then your top fabric, your top backing fabric, then face down, right sides together, and then move your clips or pins and clip them all three together. So basically we've done one piece of sewing so far. This is going to be the second piece of sewing. And it's as simple as that. I will never ever make an envelope pillow ever again. Right. There we have it. That's so far all we've done is 2 rows of sewing, and your zip with your cover is in. There you go. So when we open the zip up, there you go. And that's now covered, and I'm going to press the top. And there you go. As quick as that. Your back's ready, your front's already cut out to the size that you need, so everything's ready. Right, there is one thing that I will ask you to do, and that is just to baste, to keep this flap completely down so it doesn't move like that, and then I can clip that down. I'm going to move my zip out the way so I don't catch it with the machine. It just wants to baste it. And do the same the other side, making sure you're not catching anything. And then just clip that one. And then just baste it. Put it on a bigger stitch length. And just go down with roughly one. That's all you need to do. I'm going to change back to my other foot in a moment and just do that one there. Just a few stitches just to hold that flap down, and then change back to your other zip, to your other foot. So there we go, we're right to the end. We only got one bit left. So you've got your back, which has got your zip inside. You've basted your ends to keep your flap down. Right, this is the way I want it to face. I've got directional fabric, so I want the top half to be up this way. So I need to fold that right side together once I've got my pattern straight. And this is why I want my backing to be bigger than my front. Obviously my front is the one that governs the size it's going to be, and you'll need pins. So make sure that you've covered so this is where it's basted here, look, and it will not affect, but you must obviously make sure your zip's undone a certain way. Once you've pinned the edge to get it straight, then undo your zip a few inches to make sure it's not in the way, and you can undo it to turn. So I'll pin that to make sure that's straight, and you need to put a few pins in a few places. Don't need to go mad. So cut your threads and get your pinking shears. And cut about 1/4 of an inch from your sewn line, or 3/8 of an inch. That's the back, and put your hand in and finish opening the zip if you didn't open it all the way. Give it a good press and then turn it through. Once you've pressed it, pull it through to the other side. It's really easy because your zip's that wide. It's the same principle whatever size zip or cushion you wish to make. Make sure your points are out. If you don't like points on a cushion, you can actually round that off when you're sewing it. There you go. I'm going to now press that again. Make sure my edges are out straight. If I have to, you put your hand back in. Just rub something sharp across the edges to make sure that it's sitting straight on your seam. That'll make it easier to press. So press that, and we'll get the cushion cover out, cushion inner. There you go. So there we have it, and it bit like a treat. I've got a couple of tips for you. These are from eBay. I'm not sure, I just sold it. There you go. And they were about £1 something for 10. Absolutely perfect for just clipping onto the end of your zip. And because there's a zip flap, all you do is, once it's on, it doesn't matter what colour it is, just tuck it underneath. You can't see it, and that's that side. Straighten it all up. The other tip I've got is that because sometimes you have hollows in your points, you could push some cotton wool or some padding or wadding into your corners. But if you don't like corners, then you could take them off when you're sewing. And if you think about it, we did 1 row of stitching to put the first zip on there, then we did another row of stitching to add this bit and the flap, and then we did the I don't class basting the wadding down as doing any serious stitching. I could have done that by hand or used a pin or a clip, so I don't class that. So that's 1 row, 2 row, and then 1 all the way round to attach it to this. We've done 3 lots of sewing on the machine, and we have a lovely cushion with a zip and a flap. And then the other tip is, because you have the flap covering the zip, then if you want to put your head on this side, if you want to show this side, so basically it's reversible, because that's just as pretty as that side. So there are my zipped cushions, and it's that way up, so the bee is flying up. So I got 2 of those, and they ended up being 17% because they were a pre-made printed panel, so I was governed to make the inners cushions by what size that turned out. And obviously this, because it's homemade, I can make it whatever size I want, and I've got both sides. It's reversible, and it's a hidden zip, so it doesn't matter what colour zip I use because you can't see it. So it's a great way for using up some leftovers. So there you go, quick and easy project.